Discover a world of exclusivity and opulence. Each of these islands stands as a sanctuary, offering unmatched privacy and top-tier amenities. So join me as I count down the top 15 most luxurious private islands in the world. Starting with number 15, the Green Turtle Key. Located within the Abaco Island chain in the Bahamas, Green Turtle Key is the perfect island property. That's because it's home to a modern main house that spans an impressive 7,200 square feet. And it's got a private guest house that spans about 2,800 square feet, a series of pristine beaches and beautiful marina. Best of all, if you've got some deep pockets, it can be yours, as it's currently listed by Sotheby's for a cool price of about $19.2 million. Number 14, Cayo Espanto. Located just off the coast of Belize in the Caribbean, this island was bought in 1997 by American estate agent Jeff Graham. Just 1 year later, he opened up a top-tier adult. Suggest jetting over to Hayman Island. It's located in the northeast coast of Australia in the Whitsundays. It's a privately owned island with a resort known for its great cuisine, amazing spas, and proximity to the Great Barrier Reef. With just 182 suites and villas, a stay here is relatively quiet, and with over 500 staff on hand, you'll be well waited on for every desire. Best of all, at a price of just $500 a night, a stay here is relatively reasonable. Number 12, Mnemba Island. While Tanzania may not be the most well-known vacation spot out there, its luxurious Mnemba Island is certainly worth a visit. That's because this tiny private island is home to the Beyond Resort. Housing just 12 villas, it features beautiful beaches, a variety of water sports, beachfront yoga, and rides in the incredible dhow boats, which are native to the area. However, at a starting price of about $2,100 per night, it ain't cheap. Worse still, even if you've got the cash, you'll have to hold it. In order to cater to its rich clientele, it's got 25 staff, a bar, 2 restaurants, and a helipad. And in recent years, British monarchs have been known to vacation here. And at a price at about $3,700 a night, it's far out of the price range of the average Joe. Number 10, Crown Pigeon Island and Keys. If you're looking for an exclusive and luxurious private island in the Bahamas, then I'd suggest checking out Crown Pigeon Islands and Keys. It's located in the waters of North Eleuthera. This 4.5-hectare slice of the tropics is truly paradise. As of now, though, it's home to 3 oceanfront villas. The first has 2 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, and a pool, outdoor bar, and entertaining deck, alongside 2 guest cottages, a home office, and laundry facilities. The second villa is the largest and has 5 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, a pool, a massive oceanfront deck, and a swim-up bar. The third and final villa is somewhere in between, as it offers only 4 bedrooms, 2 guest cottages, and has the most secluded accommodation: high-speed internet, a state-of-the-art water maker system, an organic composter, and backup generators. The home is even perfect for those who love the water, as it's got over 1.5 acres of protected harbor with enough room for multiple boats. In case you want to have some additional hands around, the island even has the staff and guest housing near the marina, making the island fully functional. Now, it's because of all this that this has been advertised as well being suited for use as a private family estate, exclusive residential development, or a boutique luxury resort. However, it's also because of this functionality that's listed at $39 million, making it truly an expensive purchase. Number 9, Out There Island. Of all the areas where you could own a private island, the Canadian province of British Columbia may just be the most underrated spot. It's known for its massive pine trees, untouched coastlines, and temperate rainforest climate. It would be lovely to own an island here. And while Out There Island isn't for room and amenities like biodegradable soap, shampoo, and toothpaste, the room rate also includes a boat service to and from the island and food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And if you're willing to pay just a little bit extra, that food can even be prepared by professional local chefs. These chefs are pretty cool. They can cater your personal needs, and whether that be a day picnic or a unique floating long table dinner set up on the dock. In terms of activities, there are facilities and equipment available for kayaking, paddleboarding, swimming, hiking, spotting orca whales, warming up in the wood-fired hot tub, or relaxing on the shoreline. Now, that's not to say that the place is absolutely decked out. After all, the Wi-Fi is only basic, and due to the nature of the solar power, energy has to be conserved as much as possible at night. However, if you're looking for a great outdoor retreat that allows you to disconnect from technology, few places are as cool as this beautiful island. Number 8, Pim Island. If you want to buy a luxurious private island that's outside the tropics, then Pim Island makes. And if you'd like to be on the water, it comes fully equipped with a boathouse, dock, and deep water moorage, allowing you to have whatever vessels you desire on hand. Yet it's this island's beautiful main house that steals the show. Built in 1980 using natural materials such as cedar for roofing and framing, oak and marble for the flooring, stone for fireplaces, and wood inlaid marble for finishings, the house is truly top tier. It comes complete with a total of 4 beds and 4 baths, got cool features such as a massive indoor pool house with hot tub, formal and informal dining rooms, a vaulted ceiling, great room with a wet bar, a library, an outdoor patio with a wood-fired oven, a games room, and even a self-contained suite for any staff you'd like to have on hand. When you step outside, you can not only find tons of golf cart paths to zip through the island, but additional features such as a fully lit outdoor tennis court and an additional 5 individual cottages. Best of all, you can stay connected despite being out on an island, as there's complete internet, full electric connection, and boating by a whopping 500 kilometers, and it's home to about 25,000 people. These residents all live in a private complex of villas that are connected to each other and the mainland by metro with a 5.5-kilometer-long monorail. In total, this massive island complex cost a whopping $12 billion. Now, the world is an even grander, albeit similar project. Constructed slowly over the past 2 decades, it's essentially a series of islands that look like a map of the world. Consisting of about 300 islands, issues such as the 2008 financial crisis massively hurt the project, and as of late 2013, only 2 of the islands have been developed. Yet despite the slow start, activity has picked up in recent years, and it's now home to several homes and luxury amenities. However, while these islands may seem pretty cool, they've come with a whole host of problems. First and foremost, they have a horrible impact on the area's ecology. You see, in order to create these islands, the developer dredged up local sand and then had a little regard for including Irish crime boss Daniel Kanayan, Pakistani money launderer Obaid Kanani, and Azerbaijani dictator Ilham Aliyev. So, while these private islands may be cool-looking, they've caused a whole host of problems and may just be a net negative to the city of Dubai. However, if you guys got any thoughts on this, let me know in the comments down below. Number 6. The Pumpkin Key. If you're looking to get to the most expensive island that money can buy, then you may be interested in putting a bid for Pumpkin Key. Listed by Sotheby's, this private island is located in the Florida Keys. With 10 bedrooms and 12 bathrooms, it's got enough space to fit just about anybody you'd want over. And with the property being just a 3-minute boat ride to shore, accommodations at the Ocean Reef Club is far less remote than most of the other islands on this list. As of now, the island features 1 main home with 3 bedrooms, 2 caretaker cottages, and a dockmaster's apartment. If you want to dock some boats, maybe you can make use of its 20-boat marina, which can accommodate 1,300 waterfront estates, private homes, condominiums, and boat slips. The club is also equipped with a fully staffed medical center, gourmet grocery store, veterinary care, and even an independent K through 8th grade school. In case you need to fly in from far away, the club is conveniently located less than an hour from Miami International Airport and just 1.5 hours from Fort Lauderdale or Hollywood International Airport. And if you're mega rich, you can just opt to fly in, as the Ocean Reef Club is serviced by its own private runway. Now, if all this sounds like it's down your alley, well, you gotta pay up. After all, with a $75 million asking price, the island ain't cheap. However, if you can't afford it, I'm sure that it would be a very enjoyable investment. Number 5. Little Hall's Pond Key. Johnny Depp is massively famous for his role as Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean, and in 2004 he became an actual resident of the Caribbean after purchasing Little Hall's Pond Key. It's located in the Exuma Island, 4th after the late author Hunter S. Thompson, and a 5th after his friend and mentor Marlon Brando, whom he reportedly consulted with when he first wanted to purchase the island. Unsurprisingly, it's thanks to all of this peace, beauty, and tranquility that the island has become his recovery spot, and he would be known to spend a lot of time here in order to relax and recharge. However, in a somewhat surprising twist, he reportedly ended up selling the island to J.K. Rowling in early 2023 for a whopping $75 million, making a massive profit in the process. While it may seem like it was the money that made Johnny give up his beloved island, it likely had more to do with its troubling past. You see, in 2015, Johnny married his now ex-wife Amber Heard in a ceremony on the island. As many of you likely know, he underwent a very famous trial against Amber in mid-2022 and ended up being awarded $15 million after suing her for defamation. It was allegedly this trial that made him want to sell the home, as he had tied the memory of Amber to the island. Yet it appears it's military. However, its Flakfortet has a long martial tradition that's now been translated into a luxury experience. Built between 1910 and 1914, it was the last of 3 artificial islands that the Danes created to defend the entrance to Copenhagen's harbor. It was built mostly out of reinforced concrete. When in active service, the fortifications extended over 2 floors and included a barracks that once housed a garrison of 550 men. While it didn't serve much of a purpose during World War I or World War II, it finally got a facelift in 1950. Thanks to the incoming funds from the Marshall Plan, the island was fitted with anti-aircraft guns, which were meant to be used in the case of a possible Soviet attack. In 1965, at the height of the Cold War, the Danes decided to build a Hawk anti-aircraft missile battery, bringing the fort up to its maximum strength in terms of firepower. However, in 1968, it was decommissioned from military use, and in 1975, things took an abrupt turn when the Danish Ministry of Defense decided to lease the Flakfortet to the Copenhagen site, as it's got a lot of potential for use in various ways. Sources online now seem to suggest that it was put on sale in 2015 for a sizable sum of $8.3 million. In the sale listing, a lot of the profit potential was advertised, and the numbers were certainly exciting. In total, they believe that this could mean a total annual revenue, including fees from ferry riders, sitting at around $2.2 million. Yet to date, it's unclear whether or not any sort of sale actually went through, meaning that there may be still a chance for you to buy the island if you so choose. Number 3. Robins Island. While the English countryside isn't something that's often associated with the American state of New York, Robins Island is a small piece of British cultural heritage. Now, the island has been inhabited by colonists since 1636, as it was in that year that William Alexander, Earl of Stirling, was given a deed to it by King Charles I. In this deed, the Earl was given all the Long Island and adjacent islands, with Robben Island because of legal disputes, as another developer had signed a contract to purchase it for $15.3 million. However, that development deal ultimately collapsed, and to make things even more complicated, around this time, the Wickham family attempted to sue for a 75% stake in the island. This is because back in 1779, a certain Parker Wickham was stripped of his title to Robins Island by the state of New York due to his refusal to support the American Revolution. This in turn resulted in a court battle which the Wickhams ultimately ended up losing. In any case, after all this confusion was out of the way, the island went up for sale once more. It was at this point that Wall Street financier Louis Bacon won the island in a 1993 bankruptcy court auction for a cool $11 million. Due to its great location, close to New York, it made for a great place to go out into nature, and so it was made luxurious in a rather unorthodox way. On one hand, he's imported full-grown oak trees, engaged in extensive ecosystem management, and conducted a series of conservation easement with the Nature Conservancy, a global conservation nonprofit that works to preserve several at-risk species that live on the island. Mr. Bacon said that, quote, "I wanted to continue the legacy of protection that previous generations had made so important for this unique and special island to remain in this natural state," end quote. On my end, I say he's done a pretty good job at doing just that thus far. Number 2. Necker Island. While many billionaires get a pretty bad rap, one of the few who gets almost exclusively good press is the one and only Sir Richard Branson. The founder of Virgin Group, he began his business in the record industry, but eventually expanded his holdings into everything from mobile phones to jewelry to spaceflight. He is a true jack of all trades. It's this adventurous tendency that was behind his purchase of Necker Island. Bought directly from the British Overseas Territory of the Virgin Islands in 1978, the then 28-year-old entrepreneur paid a measly $120,000 resort with a massive great house, 6 individual Bali houses, and enough capacity to support 48 adults and 6 children. The guests are taken care of hand over foot by the island's 100-person hospitality team. Now, while Branson will book off slots for personal use when not using the island, he rents out its room for prices that start at about $6,000 a night. And for only about $140,000 per night, you can rent out the entire island. While this may sound a bit expensive, the mix of incredible nature, beautiful beaches, and its billionaire association draws people in. If you're into the prestige, the high purchase price also puts you in an elite club. After all, the likes of J-Lo and Lionel Messi are some of the few who have decided to rent out the entire island. However, it is worth noting that not everything has been sunshine and rainbows on the island. That's because on August 22nd of 2011, the Great House burned down in a blaze believed to have been caused by lightning from Tropical Storm Irene. At the time, the house had 20 people inside, and while all 20 men, in order to keep it afloat, he offered to put up his home as collateral in exchange for a $600 million loan. However, it's unclear whether or not this ever came to pass, but as some later reports claim that Branson simply opted to inject $350 million more into his Virgin businesses after selling some of his shares in Virgin Galactic. And while this move certainly tainted Branson's image in the eyes of Virgin Galactic shareholders, it's also allowed him to keep a firm hand on Necker Island. Number 1. Petite St. Vincent. For those of you who are geography buffs, have almost certainly heard of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's located in the Southeast Pacific. It's the bane of all trivia players, as its small size and location makes it a tricky spot to point out on a map. However, if you zoom in even further, you can find private islands that are far less famous, yet far more exclusive than its larger cousin. Known as Petite St. Vincent, or PSV for short, its history is an interesting one. PSV was uninhabited until 1960. In mind, the three men set sail to explore the Grenadines, which at the time were home to at least 24 undeveloped islands of varying sizes. Now, at some point in the voyage, the team docked at the north shore of a serrated emerald island called Petite Martinique. This island was not for the taking. After all, it was first settled in 1700 and continued to have inhabitants. However, on the other side of the channel sat another island shaped like a 1970s fretless heavy metal guitar. It was perfect, completely untouched and underdeveloped. It offered protection from the Atlantic Ocean winds and waves coming out of the east and was in beautiful condition. The island was PSV, and soon after spotting it, the two Marines located the owner, who happened to be an older woman who lived on Petite Martinique. Nichols then hired a Swedish architect to build the hotel. In keeping with the men's promise to the former owner, he agreed to build the hotel's 22 cottages, main reception and pavilion in the traditional West Indian style, which would include exposed stone walls and woodwork sourced on site. To create the community feel, the cottages had no televisions or telephones, which is a feature that still holds true today. Now, while classic elements such as the cottages, tiling, and systems of running the place remain, new furniture and appliances have been added. In recent years, a few cool amenities have also been added too, with these including one of only 2 Jean-Michel Cousteau dive centers worldwide and 5-star dining at one's beck and call. And while 2 new waves of ownership have led to slight changes in operations, the nice thing about the island is that the original, purest vision of a relatively untouched island is an ideal that's not been forgotten. Now, if you're interested in going, you'll have to jump through a couple of hoops. First and foremost, getting there is a challenge. Since it doesn't have the space or topography for a runway, it must be reached via water. However, those without a boat have nothing to fear, as most guests fly into Barbados, connect to Union Island, and then have one of PSV's private captains pick them up in a yacht. Staying here is also pretty expensive. After all,